overthinking.
Over all the bot hype and the noise, time to make a smarter choice.
First up is Jenny DeLacy, award-winning brand message strategist, coach, and founder of Talking Digital. Jenny helps business owners and leaders get their message right every time in the room, on the page, and when briefing AI. And joining her is Anna Osharov, founder of Flint & Lancha, marketing strategist, launch expert, and Telstra Business Women's Awards nominee. Anna helps businesses turn big ideas into smarter marketing. Successful launches and campaigns that get results. Basically, if your message and marketing are a bit of a SHaiT show, Jenny and Anna are the people to call.
Hey.
Morning. No, afternoon.
Afternoon.
How are you, my friend? Are you good?
I'm good. That's video, that jingle, that everything still makes me happy every time we play it. Although I do love the pronunciation of our little AI man, who's like Anna Osharov.
Osharov.
Osharov. Do you know, when I was at high school, my vice principal used to pronounce my name exactly like that. So it would be like, can Anna Osharov please come to the principal's office? And I'll be like, I'm not Irish, but thank you. And it was never for a good thing. It was always because I was in trouble. But, you'd hear this, can Anna Osharov over the PA system? Sure. Off I go as Anna Osharov.
I'm not Irish. Oh, that's hilarious.
How are you today, Jen?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's crisp winter, bright blue sky, freezing cold, typical Melbourne winter day today, which is both good and bad. Nice to sit in the sun, actually. I've had some sunshine, which is really good.
Yes. Vitamin D is very important, but it is chilly. I think it's the top of like 13 degrees. It was 7 degrees this morning when I was wandering over to uni, which was fun. I actually came up with a new sound bite today, which I'm going to test on you. So I was talking about I taught today, and then I went to an event before we did this. It was a Speakers Institute preview event, and I was supporting the team there, and I was speaking to somebody afterwards, and they're like, oh, you teach at RMIT, what do you teach? And so I said, I teach marketing and communications, social media, and then I came up with, I practice what I preach, and I preach what I practice.
Nice. I like it. Which is very true, because you've said to me before, the students are quite young. They haven't had a lot of life experience or business experience or work experience. Mm-hmm. And so you're sort of shaping our Gen Zs around all sorts of stuff about marketing. Yeah. So what was the subject today?
So it's great, perfect segue. So today I was teaching a subject called How to Write Persuasive Copy. How to write persuasive copy, which is quite an interesting subject to be teaching in today's day and age, where we are surrounded by AI. And what I find really interesting is my students have not been using AI to write content, which made it really, you can tell the difference. You can actually tell the difference. And we are starting to tune out to AI written content and even AI created imagery. I was sitting there with my partner the other day, and he's just flicking through, I think it was his LinkedIn, and it was literally like AI generated, and you just start to zone out from the AI generated imagery content, because it just becomes, I guess some part of your human brain goes, that's not actually real. So therefore, I am zoning out to this because it is generic and it is repetitive, and I am not engaged by this. So, yeah.
And there's a reason for that. This has been my rabbit hole of research for the last few weeks, has been very much about what is the result of because let's face it, the vast majority of small business owners in some way, shape or form, whether they're solos or business, they work in a business or whatever, are using AI to create content. And so I'm obsessed, obviously, with content creation. I know that there's lots of other really amazing ways to use AI in a business, but in terms of marketing content, like the words that represent your business out there, the research that we looked at earlier in the year from Meltwater, and there was another report that I looked at during the week that said essentially 52% of people, and I still think it's actually higher than that, just thumbs down to to clearly AI generated content, whether it's imagery or words. It makes us lose trust in a brand, and that's really disappointing. We know the amount of amazing people that we've worked with. It's like, don't rely on AI, which naturally pushes you to the generic, whether you've given it strict instructions or not. It has been trained by 11 billion language inputs from across the world. And if anyone knows that sort of bell curve, the vast majority of stuff that it relies on to answer your prompt comes from the middle of the road, not from the outliers, not from something unique, not from your unique brand voice. It will actually shave off the differences in the way that you naturally want to communicate in your copy, and make it more. It will soften it and make it less specific, less unique. And I was getting really frustrated about that, because I'm like, why are you happy sounding like every other business in your industry? And maybe some people don't care, but I know that a lot of people really do care. So when you're an audience member, it makes you just sort of feel like, is that what you really think? Or did a bot for you? So it reduces that bit of trust. But from a creator's perspective, so if it's your business words, you will not be satisfied with what AI gives you, even when you've given it all the inputs you think you want to. And in particular, I've discovered that around persuasive language or storytelling or just the syntax, which is just the way we construct our messaging, is lacking. Of course, it just doesn't have it. So if you're trying to tell a story, and you and I are in person and we're having a wine and you're telling me a story about the people at uni, and then you'll morph into telling me what happened at the Speakers Institute event, and then you'll loop back round to what happened, because we find common threads, right? AI does not do that in our copy. And so it naturally feels a bit separate and a bit jolting. And I found I went down this, I read so many articles, and I've tried to reach out to AI, technology specialists who are building AI models for their clients to find out, is my assertion true? And that is that do not rely on AI, particularly for long form opinion pieces, thought leadership pieces.
Yes.
High risk, high complexity assets, like a landing page or a sales page on your website. Absolutely terrible idea.
An educational.
Because spend more time editing it, because it just won't. It cannot do that job properly. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting. Recently, I shared this article with you earlier, Jenny. So this was an article that was posted by John Yo, or shared by John Yo, who is the curator of TEDx Melbourne. And the article was called The Shape of Institution. I want to share this because it's really important to be able to see. For those that are following at home, it's really important to be able to see. So this article is by, come back to me.
You might have to log in.
Nope. So this article is by Ryan Levensk. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but what's really interesting is this video, this image here. Can you see that? Is that on your screen? Yeah, that is on your screen. Perfect. So I found this image really, really interesting. So this shows the human writing has a unique shape. Yeah. So our shape kind of looks like a carrot. So essentially what that means is that like AI slop has its own shape. So human writing, this is kind of what you were saying there, Jenny, projection of narrative vectors into first two linear discriminant components. So human writing occupies a distinct region, and the 5 AI models clustered together. Claude is the most distinct of the AI models specifically here. But essentially what we're saying, what we're showing here is that the way that humans talk and the way that we provide content and unique writing style is that we'll have more information at the top, and then we will naturally kind of peter out that information with an ending. Whereas if we're looking at the way that the AI writes it, it kind of looks like a piece of shit, which is why it's called AI. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. But essentially, I'd like you to envision, and I think by now anybody who is in this space has spent a bit of time looking on social media. I'd like you to envision a social media post done by somebody who has clearly used AI. Now, I know what that looks like in my mind. Let's see. What would you say it looks like, Jenny? Like, I want you to just give it like an overview of what it looks like.
Well, to me, it's like just a bit of usually it's quite a nebulous sort of blob because there's no genuine, there's no storytelling, there's no natural, like unique words that are your tone of voice. Usually it's quite generic. At its worst, we know it's full of bloody AI slop compared to.
It looks the same, right? It's not even that. So yes, sometimes there's unique storytelling. Like I will work with my AI, and we'll talk about this in a moment because we'll do a bit of a deep dive in what like marketing actually, how we should structure marketing, how can we support ourselves and AI, because we use AI because it's faster. Like it is hands down faster to get things done. So we need to find a balance, and this will take time for us, and whatever it is that AI agents might be the pathway. But essentially, when I ask AI to help me, I will ask AI to help me craft teleprompter so that I've got a topic. So I'll literally be like, hey, AI that I've chosen, I've taught my brand voice, whatever it is, it's usually ChatGPT. I'd like to write a video about blah, blah, blah. These are the things that I want to talk about. This is the story that I have in order to back up what it is that I am sharing, etc., etc. Yeah. And then it'll write me a script. Now, the script isn't too bad because I will put my own intonation into that. I will, add some extra elements. But in a post, it always looks like this. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like sentence space, sentence space, sentence space, sentence space, short sentence, short bit, short bit, short bit, short bit, sentence, 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 end. Yeah. That's what they look like, right? And you can see them. You can see that was clearly not how anybody would write, because if I was writing, I would write in sentences and paragraphs. And if I had dot points, I would put into dot points. But we can now, I look at it and I'm like, oh, this was clearly written by somebody who has a story to share, but has used AI, versus if you look at how somebody structures their post, if they haven't used AI or potentially haven't had to tell their AI multiple times what it is to do, then their stories look like they are in, some bit of, there's always an introduction, there is a bit of a paragraph, there's a dot points, there is a bit of an overview and a conclusion, right? And I think that AI content it kind of looks like that blob of poop, which is what this article, and I might just share the link to the article in the comments here.
Yeah, it's such a good article. It doesn't just talk about content. Of course, I was particularly interested in why is, no matter how well I brief it, why is it taking so long to create a decent sort of long form article or whatever? And while you're looking for the article link, you did, thank you. The typically, and this doesn't matter which AI model you're using of the obvious big four kind of large language models, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, AI separates concepts into paragraphs. So if you read it the first time, if you're doing your first draft in AI, which is a terrible waste of time, as Anna and I will explain in a minute, the concepts are never joined together with linking paragraphs, which is just a natural form of writing, but it's also the way we speak. Like I'll say, oh, I went to this event today and I met some amazing people. And what I found really interesting was there was a sort of a common concern that they had was XYZ, which made me think of yada yada. And like we talk in concepts and we come back to it, and we're not linear, but we also link. We have a so what, you know. I'm telling you this for a reason. Here's the moral of my story, right? Whereas what AI tends to do is it doesn't link concepts together. It also, and this is the research I've been doing, has a novice bias. So that's why it over explains things all the time, and you don't need it to, like, and it has that, it's not this, it's that. So that's a really typical AI turn of phrase.
Yeah.
So don't think about it. It's not that thing. It's this thing. It's like, no, just say what the thing is. Like, you don't have to do that. Over explaining, the novice bias, which is telling people stuff. You know, our audience are not novices, even if they're new to AI. They're not. They've been in business for a few yonks. What was the other thing? Oh, that it just sort of moves back towards a more general way to describe the thing that you have quite clearly got an opinion on. So you'll find that the turns of phrase just aren't quite specific enough to what you want it to say. And so the online recommendation, because I did audience research about this topic with a skill that I built in Claude, that's just a repeatable, you can tell me what audience you want research for and I'll be able to go and do it. And it said, the question about using AI to write long form copy or thought leadership copy or whatever, this is the AI answer that keeps coming back to those people. And it was, do your first draft in AI, then polish and refine. I was like, are you joking? No one's got time for that. That's like you and I said at the very, very start, and this litmus test maybe I'd forgotten until right now. If it doesn't make things faster, but give you a better quality output than you could do yourself, it's actually not worth doing. And that's what I was finding with long form stuff. And I said, no, do use AI for audience research or topic clarification. So do your ideation in there, then do your voice memo or your video. So you're speaking what you want to do something with, whether you're creating a video, like you said, or we're doing our voice prompt, which is something we've always recommended anyway. Then get a draft.
Yes.
Then go back and say, does this sound like me? And even though I've got a list of banned words, I've got, like, these are all instructions that are in the back end of Claude work, by the way. It still ignores some of that because it wants to do it fast. So it goes to the center of its knowledge base. So it's not looking for the interesting or the different. It's looking, how can I answer this question as fast as possible? And that's happened even when I've clicked deep research and everything, it still does it. So I was like, okay, I'm onto something here. What can we use AI really successfully for to help us with our content marketing? And it's the audience research, definitely. But what else? What else do you think? You're saying the shape of, like, just even a social post isn't necessarily working. What do you think is a really good way to use AI for your content as a business?
That's a good. I think what we need to do is we need to remember to go back to marketing basics. And this is what I tell my students as well. So, for example, today, as I said, I was teaching a class. It's called Write Persuasive Copy. Now, what the outcome of this class is they literally have to read a brief. So they have 5 different options of companies. So there are companies like Uber Eats or HelloFresh or Surf Stitch. And that company has a challenge. And what they need to do is they need to write 4 pieces of persuasive copy to answer the brief, which is to, improve whatever the challenge is for that company, right? And so the content that they have to write is they need to write a blog, they need to write an e-newsletter, they need to write a informational script for a video, and then they need to write a short form video for an influencer. That's what they need. That's the output, right? And so just in today's class, you have to go back to basics, which I think we always forget about. So we need to go back to basics. The very first elements here are, like, what is the positioning of the company? Like, what is the positioning statement for the company? We need to have clarity on what are we trying to achieve? What's going to be the actual call to action of this information? Like, what's the next logical step for these people? It has to make sense. We need to have clarity over who our audience is. Yeah, so who are they and where they actually are in their customer journey when they are reading this piece of content. And I think we forget about all of this information. So once we've done that, we can do a skeleton overview of what it is that we want. And from that, we can start to get some information back and then put that as a voice note. So for years, I've been training and teaching people, if we want to get authentic content out there, then the best way to get that authentic content out there is to not do it in a way that you pre-write it and say it. So the best way to do it, this is what we've taught people before. I'm like, you get your heading, and you can do, AI gives you great opportunity for research on what's a good heading. You can say, what is a good hook? Give me a number of options. It's going to be a good hook, an alignment with this challenge, in alignment with this audience sector, in alignment with where they're at, in alignment with what the brand positioning is and what we want, what the call to action will be. Give me hooks. Great. It's going to give you that. Once you know those elements, all you really need to do is go, here's my heading. Here are my, 3 to 7 dot points of what I'm going to talk about. And if you know your content well enough, you should just be able to talk about those things.
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah.
Whether it's on video or today, you can just do it straight into a voice note. Just talk to your AI. It's really easy to do on your phone. Talk to your AI. Actually just talk about those dot points. And the best way that I found to do it is using these things called post-it notes. And you literally just go, okay, here's my post-it note. On my post-it note, I'm going to write today's topic, how do we write persuasive copy in the age of AI? Great. So let's do an introduction about that. Talk about that. I can talk about that. And in today's world, what we're finding is that AI is making persuasive copywriting really bland. So instead of actually persuading people, people are disengaging because they're starting to be able to see through. I'm just making this up, right? Why? Because I know it.
Yeah.
And what are the 5 ways that we can write better persuasive copy? Oh, wow. Thanks for asking so much. Well, I just talked about that. We need to ensure that we understand our target audience, talk about that. Our brand positioning, talk about that. Our customer journey, talk about that. Our call to action, talk about that. Put a conclusion. There's your long form content. Take that long form content, right, that's come out of your mouth, and then repurpose that across your social media. So now you've got 5 or 6 different posts that are about 4 or 5 different dot points. You can now turn them into a long form article or blog that's going to go on your website. You can now get AI to review it and to maybe edit some of the ums and ahs out of it. Maybe you might want to look at, make sure that we've got the right type of call to action. Is it actually aligning with the audience that we want it to be? And have I got the pathway of that customer journey correct?
Yeah. So the smaller, more what's the word? The smaller pieces of that bigger puzzle, AI will do very well because it's fast. And also you could, the shorter the output that you are asking for, the closer it's going to stick to what you tell it to do in your own words. So think about things like, if I want something at volume, so I want 10 subject lines. I want taglines that suit my business. I want 5 of those to match my unique value proposition. So I want volume is really valuable. It'll do that really well. And speed, we know it does things really quickly. The other thing that you and I have done over and over again is that analysis of data. It's super fantastic at that. As if I'm going to read a 700-page digital report and find anything valuable in it. So finding what is important to my audience in that report, that is super valuable, because then I was able to say, okay, so 52% of people that recognize AI written copy or AI generated a video or whatever lose trust in that brand. what am I doing with that stat? What can I talk about in relation to that? How important it is to build trust, because literally people still, most of us are still selling to human beings. So if we don't if they don't trust us and see some humanity in us somehow and feel understood by us, all of that hard work that you've built on your reputation. Someone said to me that you own your brand, but your audience owns your reputation.
Yeah, so it's so when we talk about this within education, when you think about culture versus reputation, culture is internal. You build the culture internally, and reputation is how people see you from the outside in. It's it's the same. You're building your brand. You say what it is, but the reputation of your brand is actually not. You don't have control over that. All you can do is ensure that you support and put your best foot forward. And there's some really good brands who understand their audience. I think this again goes back to, and I know we're talking AI, but it just goes back to your basic principles of marketing communications. A brand that is, I think, fantastic at understanding who their audience is Who Gives a Crap.
Yes.
Toilet paper. Who Gives a Crap toilet paper? I'm looking down the street because I walk to uni and they've got ads on like the back of phone boxes at the moment, and they've got like an ad that says, to all the lipstick blotters and all the public toilet polishers, thank you so much for helping us reach 20 million blahs, right? How well you have to understand your audience to know that, well, people don't always use toilet paper just to wipe their nether region. Sometimes you use it for lipstick blotting. Sometimes you're using it to polish the toilet, right?
Yes.
To clean the toilet before you sit on it. And so it's so important to understand that. Because once you know that, then you can use AI. You can say, like, this is our audience. This is how they talk. Like, what you can do that. What else do people use toilet paper for? Help me brainstorm.
Yes. So short brainstorm. But that input, like you said, is so important. And like I with clients every time, and you do the same, that sort of, I call it a messaging map. But if you can't tell me with your ideal human decision maker in the center, the things that are super challenging and get into the level of empathy that you understand what it's like to be that person.
Yeah, totally.
It's going to be really hard for you to get decent copy out of AI. Sorry, what was that?
And again, literally today I was talking to this class exactly about that, because it's not just about understanding the problem. You need to understand the symptoms or the effects of the problem. So the example,
what is it like to have that problem? If you can't work out how that might feel, I think it's much harder to build trust.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what are you actually experiencing in that moment? So, for example, I think there's an example of not getting enough sleep. So the problem is not getting enough sleep. But the actual problem for a person is not that you didn't sleep enough. That's not the problem. The problem is that you feel lethargic. The problem is that you're not your best self. The problem is that you don't have the energy to go exercise. The problem is that you are sleeping in and missing work, right? They are the actual symptoms of that. So in order for us to be able to write persuasive content, especially long form content, we need to have clarity on what are the actual symptoms of the problem. It's kind of like features and benefits, right? But in reverse. It's like reverse features and benefits. The feature is the problem. The benefit is actually the symptom of that problem. And then when you can flip that as to your solution, and the benefit would need to answer the actual symptoms that person is going through.
Yeah. And because AI can't understand the human condition,
no.
Even though it tries, every now and then, like I got something back the other day from ChatGPT that said, "Oh, Jenny, that sounds like that was really hard," or something, and I was like, "What? I don't even. What do you want from me? You know, stop."
I love when ChatGPT coaches you. Oh, that's great.
So weird. It was so weird. Whereas I think that we need to be the custodian of that empathy that we have for our ideal clients, because if you're not owning that, you won't be able to see whether it's missing or not from the stuff you're putting out there. And anyone who knows the sort of story brand model, you know, that is really about who is this human being and what are they experiencing, and what empathy do I have? I need to show empathy for what it's like to have that problem.
Mm.
But I also need to show authority to be the person that can solve and help them through that problem.
Yeah,
and a plan to get them to the other end. And on that, I also add personality. You still also have to have, what are your catchphrases? AI is not going to know what they are if you're not. Yes, I can tell them, but how will it know where to insert the catchphrases if I'm not giving it my voice prompt? So let's just go back to our model, yours and mine, that we sort of came up with ages ago, for our both respective different businesses, was do ideation, brainstorm, come up with ideas with AI, analyze loads of data from a report to find out some interesting angles, whatever. Decide what your topic is. Decide what the human being that you want to speak to today needs from you right now, and the actual piece of content that you want to create. What is it about? What's the point of that piece of content? Da, da, da. And then use your voice. So if you've created a video about it, so I cut out the get AI to write your video scripts for you, because I know that most people we know don't need it. We don't need a script. We've just got key points and we make them. But put in either the transcript of the video or give it a voice memo. I also have an SOP, or a framework for, okay, if I've asked you to do this thing, follow this particular template. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Depends how long. Now I know not to bother with long-term, like long-form stuff. It's just not going to do it. But then refine it, reread it, be critical. Put yourself in the position of the audience that's on the receiving end. Are they going to look at that and go, even if the words are fantastic, the structure of the post might be so obviously AI that it immediately puts people off. And so I think that we've sort of got to rethink, if people are going to use AI to write their business content instead of hiring a copywriter or something, just be aware that it is potentially reputation damaging if you don't spend the extra time, particularly on the long form or the complex stuff. Or don't use it for that. Use it for the stuff it's really good at. Focus on your getting someone, or having the budget for someone else to do some of the long form stuff if you don't want to do videos. Because I just find that was a real light bulb moment for me, that the process that you and I have spoken about is actually the right one, and it's not actually that common online. If people ask online, they're going to get do your first draft, edit and refine. Terrible idea. Terrible.
So if you want to get anything out of this, do not get your first draft from AI. FYI.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
So what about things that we are liking from AI? What's been something that you have enjoyed?
I've really loved being able to do that audience research around, like I want to start my sort of content co-working kind of thing again, where people can just, they get access to my resources. It's low cost. I'm holding them accountable, but they're actually doing their own copy. I'm not doing it for them, but I'm teaching. So I was like, what words am I trying to put together here? So because they're only short paragraphs and taglines that I was sort of playing around with, like, what am I going to call it? Da, da, da. That's not really a club, because we're not going to be in a group of, it's not group coaching or anything. So that was more fun. And one of the things that came up with was cockpit, and I'm like, are you joking? I am not calling it the content cockpit. That is ridiculous, But I had a bit of fun with that, and I do that sort of thing probably in the evening. I'm just sort of playing around, like I don't have to focus too hard, because I'm just sort of putting some ideas in, getting some ideas back, and then I'll refine them when I'm, up and about and awake the next day. That's been fun. So co-work, I did try something in Claude Code to say, how can I essentially enforce the rules that I've given co-work? It's ignoring me. And look, I think it was a little bit better, but I've realized that I just have to write articles. You've just got to do them yourself. Like,
we still
it just does not, it requires so much editing, it's not worth it. But I had fun finding some email subject lines. That was fun.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So
I've
been playing around.
Going to get open?
Oh, yeah.
What about you? What have you enjoyed using?
So I've had to do a lot of presentations of late. And so, presenting brochures, decks, sales presentations, etc. And I've been testing different ways to be able to do those presentations leveraging AI technology. So one thing I found is ChatGPT now will actually create the slide deck for you inside of ChatGPT as a PowerPoint presentation, and then you can actually edit it inside of ChatGPT or export it as a PowerPoint presentation. It now has a lot more design elements. It's still not fabulous, but it does have a lot more design elements to it. I might just, if I can find it, I will actually show you, because I thought that was a really
good your style guide, Anna. Did you?
No, I hadn't. I just wanted it to. Actually, it's a lie. I did eventually, but it still didn't quite do what I needed it to do from a style guide perspective. Let's see. Okay, please do that. Okay, please do that. Edit image. Find the actual presentation. Oh, it's thinking on me. So come on.
Oh, while you're finding that, something I absolutely loved, which I've been hanging shit on Canva for a while, and how I don't love the Canva AI tools, just haven't really worked for me, blah, blah, blah. I've also whinged about how I can't stand creating slides. I just can't stand it. Anyway, I'd created a presentation about psychosocial safety and using communication as a risk control measure and all this, and I love it. It was great. But I went in and I used Canva AI on each slide, and it says ask Canva, you know that bit. So you click ask Canva, and I said, and it offers redesign this slide. I was like, oh my God, this is making me look really good. So I redid the whole thing just using, hey, redesign this slide. And so I didn't have to change any of the language. It was really just that my design is, I'm garbage at putting slide visuals together. So that was actually fantastic. And I used all my credits. I've got a pro account, but it does run out of AI credits. But it was so worth it. It just, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I'll see if I've got a before and after while you're looking for yours.
What you said, what I actually ended up doing in the end is like took it out of ChatGPT, put it into PowerPoint, and PowerPoint actually has a design section. It does like suggested designs, AI suggested designs inside of PowerPoint, which I think is good. And I don't think it'll take too long for PowerPoint to be able to allow you to have AI-powered content creation inside of PowerPoint if they haven't done that yet. So it seems to have been taking too long to find the presentation, so I'm just getting it to create another one. But in the meantime, what I have also been doing, so I've been like testing, what do I do? Do we do ChatGPT does it for you? Or what I've also done is I've actually done this in Google AI Studio. So I'm going to share the screen here. Go into Google AI Studio. So Google AI Studio allows you to create apps. You can create a new app, describe what you want, add all your stuff to it. You can even go, I'm feeling lucky. It's got some ideas here on like research visualization, voxel toy box. It's got paint a place. So, but for me, I was like, I need to create. So I'm working on this launch a partnership brochure, which I thought what it did was actually really quite cool. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time in that thinking process to jump back on. But the way that it actually works is you have this space here, which is where you vibe code your content in here, yeah? So you put in here what it is that you want. You can upload your files here. You can talk to it if you want to. And so I put in a whole bunch of information, and what it's actually created, I thought was quite cool. My challenge at the moment is that it's actually not doing a very good job of exporting it, which is where I got stuck. But this is an app that it created. So for the purposes of creating a launcher partnership deck builder, so you can put in your partner details or you can make a general brochure. So it just did this for me, right? It's actually created this app. So general partner brochure, or put in the information. It asks for the information in here. Then it's got the brochure content. So it's given you every single page and you can put in the information into that, but it actually pre-put it in there and then you can edit it. So cover page, who we are, better together. These are all suggestions based on the prompting of it. Yep. So these are the pages that it's done. It's got a design preview. So it's designed it for me and actually present the slides. So this is the outcome based on what it's done for us, which is actually really quite incredible. Like, I think the presentation itself, to be able to send to people, I think it's done a pretty good job around how do we support communities we can deliver jointly, from expertise to recognized authority. So it talks about our impact, talks about our methodology, how to be seen, heard, and chosen, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really sure what slide is, and this slide looks a little bit whatever. It's got a QR code, which I think actually did quite a good job. My biggest challenge has been, though, is when I go to export brochure, and it gives me options for PowerPoint, Google Slides, or PDF, or I think I've discussed this, a JSON file, which is like the design files in HTML.
Yeah, you said that before. So that's where you're sending it to your designer on the team.
Yeah, well, you can send it to a AI that will do images. So that's a very specific prompt on how to do images. But the only challenge is whilst it's looking really good in the design preview, my greatest challenge has been if I put it into a print and I see it now looks, see, it looks different to how it looked before. It's not using our font. It's slightly shifted the look and feel. So I can export that, and I will still need to I can download this as a PowerPoint, or I can download it as a PDF, but I still need to play with it, which has been, I
wonder why it's doing that. It'll be.
This is what it's done. See, so it's not quite what it's done in this part here. But as a concept, I think it's a really great start. Like, we can, because with this, what we can do now is I can create a partnership brochure for any partner organization, and I can edit it quite easily within, this app that it's created for me, and I can share that with our team. Now, I can't publish it. They actually have to log in as me to be able to use this to publish it. Well, I can, but you have to pay for it to actually publish it, right? So to actually then publish this, you've got to then. And this is, I guess, the challenge with, using vibe coding and creating these sort of apps, is that in order for you to be able to publish, you need to actually pay for it. But it does have options and integrations and chats, and then you can then chat back and forth and actually communicate with your AI. So I thought that was really pretty cool. And then for yes, great. So I just got just on the flip side of that. So this is what ChatGPT can now do. So I've just have instead. So this is ChatGPT. I literally, whilst we were talking, I said really simply, I said, create a presentation in PowerPoint on how to write persuasive copy. So it created a 13-slide PowerPoint covering persuasive copy structure, headlines, benefits, proof, objections, CTAs, etc. Yeah, and it's actually just created this. And I think it
works because they're separate. It's putting a separate sort of concept on each slide. So that solves that problem of long form copy. You just can't do that. You need a narrative. You need to link it all together. Right. So maybe that's why this works really well. Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing presentations using AI for the last, I don't know, at least 18 months. And this is some of the best that I have seen. So for those people that are doing presentations, ChatGPT now makes it really quite easy to be able, it's basically created, it's done this app here, it's done this here, but it's actually done it directly inside of ChatGPT and has enabled you. So then you can edit it if you want to. You can download that, and then you can talk to it around what it is that you want And I haven't given it any context. Like I've given it nothing other than, can you create this? So I don't know what that would look like if I added my brand to it and gave it some more context as to what to put together. I'm sure it would do a pretty good job. But I think that is what I've been really enjoying over the last little while, is that it has made it easier in one place to be able to do your presentation slides, to then be able to talk. And that's probably been my favorite thing that I've sort of been working on with
I love it. I really
AI.
love it.
But I just images and copy, it's just getting to a point where you see it instantly, and unless you are, specifically leaning into I am an AI brand, then we need to make sure that we're sticking to what we to our truth.
Agreed. Really agreed. Yeah. Well, we probably should wrap it up there for today.
Yes, we should.
I'll leave you with a quote from Seth Godin, who said that let's say AI is like you meet a talking dog, and the fact that it makes some grammatical errors or doesn't get the words right, it's still a talking dog. Like, still be amazed at what AI can do for you, kind of thing. And I just thought, yes, this is true. We don't. We are so much. We're getting so much benefit. The pair of us, we started talking about this in January. It's already nearly the end of July. We've both learnt absolutely heaps since then. We help clients with it, not because we're AI brands, but because people are using it in business, and if we're not literate and starting to be fluent in it, we're going to let them down as well. So that was great. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Jenny. Thanks, everybody. We're going to over and out. We've got to do an outro, and then we'll see you next time. And our stream.